Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the show today. Glad to have you here. And we're going to get into talking a little bit about what we want to do here on Bugbear's Basement because I do enjoy continuing doing role playing and stuff. We've done other things. We've done like the tabletop gaming thing we got off of Steam there. We had I can't remember what that was called, but we've done other things. But I do really enjoy the RP stuff, and would like to continue that. But we're going to have to look at getting something new going, which is fine. We've done that many times here over the years. So I wanted to come on and have a conversation and see if there's anybody else out there who's interested in coming on and joining us and starting up something new. But so all of you listening, just if you are interested, please go ahead and throw that onto the Discord and let us know, and we'll try to have some discussions here over the next week or so, and kind of decide what we're going to do. But talking to the guys here, what are you thinking, guys?
Um, I mean, like I've said before, I'm down with whatever. I don't really have a preference. I usually like to try something new, but like a new system when we boot something up. But like I said, whatever you guys want to do.
So, what do you have in mind?
Uh,
I
I I really don't have anything in mind at the moment. I'd have to go. I'd have to look because I wasn't, expecting all this, but I'll have to kind of peruse, I guess.
Well, I mean, I've just, it's been, geez, 2 months, a month and a half.
Yeah, it's been a while. I mean, it's just there's usually people's schedules conflicting, which happens.
It does.
Yeah.
It absolutely does. And we've been running for several years now. So, it makes sense that people's lives changed. I've been doing my best to keep this day open. I have had adjustments myself. Like, I really don't have time to do the comics news today on my Tuesday or your guys' Monday. So I've kind of had to put that on hiatus, but at least I have the Night Owl show still. So I get it. Schedules do change, and that's fine. And I
Mhm.
just wanted to see because we've had people from time to time express interest in coming and being involved in the game, some kind of game, and maybe there's some listening now who would like to. Just like I said, go to the Discord and let us know, and we'll come together and try to figure something out. Um, it's not only just am I going to run, which I certainly can, or we're going to have someone else run something. We're going to have like a time of some one shots, and people want to give it a try and see their hand at running something, or what have you. Me personally, I don't know, whatever system would you want to play GOP?
Um, well, I know Tower wants to try 5e, and I wouldn't mind doing it again. Um, well, wasn't there another system that you were talking about doing in the past that we didn't get to? We ended up doing the Cipher system, but there was another one you mentioned. Uh,
Well, I mean, there's the Cortex system,
I think it was the Cortex system was the one
which
you
is
mentioned.
Margaret Weiss's. Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that. That's a good system. Have You could do a fate game or one of those pseudo fates, which are pretty easy and different. Um, I don't know, lady. What do you think?
Well, a lot of these systems I've never played before, so it'll be a new experience for me either way. Um, if we 5e, I'm gonna have to go find a book.
Oh well,
I've only played the older D&D games,
well,
but
then you have no problem.
fun's fun.
5e is just a simplified version of it. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
nothing, and that's so in my head, me and GOP's head, it doesn't matter anyway.
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know, Tower. Why do you want to do a 5e game?
uh just personally, a lot of stuff I've seen on the side. I watched. It looks fun. Plus, like other people I know IRL who have played, that's what they're acquainted to. So I just never experienced it. I know that's one of the more mainstream experiences of D&D and role playing in general. That's one of the more common ones.
It is because it's so simple. It's really been watered down to hardly anything, which is why you can hear the hesitation in GOP and I's voice. But Ma, we could run a kind of little campaign, just like an interlude campaign. We could do like that. Would you want to run like a small campaign on that GOP?
Uh, I'd have to put some work into it, but I probably could. I probably wouldn't do it right away, but
No, okay,
yeah, I could probably do something.
all right. Um, 'cause-
Mazel tov.
yeah, thank you. Um,
Bless you.
but anyway, because I know there were a couple of people had expressed some interest in joining us doing something. Um, I could go crack open the book and restudy Cortex again and run that. It is way more complicated than what we're doing, but that complication is on me, not you. So, you know,
Okay.
You
uh,
mean you'd actually have to roll something?
yes, but well, that's okay. That's what I'm used to doing, lady. Although I've kind of enjoyed this cyber system, it is different, and we're just starting to get the hang of it. I think we certainly found flaws in it. We did, but I think we house ruled those fairly well, don't you?
I would say
Yeah,
so.
Yeah. But
I
I
agree.
Is it
yeah, I like
Cortex
the cyber
Classic?
system. What was that, lady?
I do.
Is it the Cortex or Cortex Classic?
Well, I
I
would
think I,
just use whatever version of Cortex I have on hand. Or I'd
yeah.
probably just go buy the new one. But like I said, with Cortex, you don't have to do much. I have to make the onus is on the GM. With
Mm.
Cortex, and it is a good system for Margaret Weiss. It's unfortunate she kind of got pushed out of the gaming, you know, world basically by, I think the final last straw for her was Disney. But whatever. I think a lot of people's last straw is Disney these days. But Basically, what the system is that there are. Imagine you had a role playing book that was nothing but options. You know how in a lot of books they'll have options on the side, the things that you can add
Yeah.
in, right? Well, the whole
Mhm.
game is
Right.
options, and I need to put
Oh.
an options list together that for the campaign. And once I know the theory, I just never run it before. It's probably not as hard as my brain thinks it is. But once I put those options together, then you guys can build a character, and we go from there. But basically, the idea of the system is the better you are at something, the more variety of dice you get, right? So let's say you're really good at you know detection or spotting or shooting or something like that. You'll have a whole bunch of dice to roll, and you roll those dice, and you choose. And these dice are different sizes, like a D4, a D6, a D8, a D12. I think is the highest. I don't think this game uses D20 at all. And Which maybe was her point. Then you take whatever you choose one of those dies, whichever is the highest. It doesn't matter which of the polygonals it is. And you choose that to be your action dice for the round, and then another dice is chosen for your effect dice, meaning what kind of damage you're going to be doing. It is kind of interesting because maybe you have a D12, but it rolls low, but your D6 rolled a perfect six. So that's kind of your dice you're working with this round. It's interesting the way it goes, and then from there it's just about what abilities you have. Like I said, I haven't run it, lady, but I think it felt when I was reading it that it might lock you down a little bit, kind of like 5e does. Whereas if you don't have it, you can't do it, type of thing. But I'll have to
Mhm.
see. But everybody who is real gamers, and for my reading as well, it's the best system on the planet right now. So I don't know. I'd have to run it.
I'm down.
Be down for that.
All right. So more homework for me. Great.
Yeah, the teacher gets to do the homework.
Yeah. Well, that's every day. You know. That's one thing I found being like I don't know about everybody else, but in the fields I chose to be involved with, study never stops.
I mean,
Yeah.
And it
mine
shouldn't
and
actually.
you learn a thing or two, but usually the interesting things in our day have to involve somebody doing something that they shouldn't have done, like flip a semi truck over or
Yeah.
crash.
Well, that's not good. Who's flipping semi trucks over and semi-annually? Oh, what do you mean?
Um,
Would that be you? GOP, is that
no,
real?
No, well, yeah, I mean, people
yeah,
do have loads flip sometimes. It's not a super common thing, but it does happen.
it's
Yeah.
probably once every about 2 to 3 months we get a good flip.
How do
But
you
every
I
flip a load? How does that happen?
it's actually not as hard as
in the United
One of
States,
two
right?
ways. They put the
What
load
is
on incorrectly over
Chester?
making one side
What
heavier than the
what is
other.
the legal load capacity in Japan? What is the legal amount? Like how heavy?
He probably doesn't know.
I wouldn't know. The biggest trucks I drive over here are like, 3.5 ton.
Our loads can be up to 80,000 pounds.
Yeah.
So we will do grain loads up to 80,000 pounds, and essentially what it equates to a dually pickup truck that's actually slightly shorter with a fifth wheel. And yeah, if you have a load shift and you brake too hard, you'll flip that sucker right over.
All righty. I mean, yeah, no, I haven't taken a load anywhere near 35 tons and for forever. I mean, I did drive semi for a bit because I had I worked for a company and I would deliver tanker gas to gas stations at night. But that was
Yeah.
like I was literally 20, right? Since then, I haven't driven
What
any
have
big
you
heavy
not
thing like
done,
that.
Chester?
See, that's the
Not
thing. I
much.
didn't know how heavy the loads in Japan are allowed to be because everywhere has their own. Technically, international, it's only supposed to be up to 60-ish thousand pounds, but grain loads,
Oh,
they
that's ridiculous.
regularly will be more like 70, 80,000.
Oh well, I mean, I don't know. I see, standard semis here, so I'm sure it's very similar. But all I drive over here is a dynamite truck, and that's 3.5 tons. So,
Woo.
so
Oh, GOP. I'll have to see if you know, but one of our coworkers got into a motorcycle accident.
oh
Critical condition. Probably not gonna do it.
oh,
oh
Yeah,
wow.
that sucks, dude.
yeah. I'll let you know more about him later.
All right, man.
Found out about that last night.
Yeah, I lost a friend to a motorcycle accident once.
Yeah, it was a very sobering ride home from work because I
Yeah.
found out about it during work because I have a family member who works at a hospital. And they're like, hey, just they HIPAA. They are not telling me who it is. They're like, hey, we identified somebody by your company's badge, and it was a motorcycle accident, really bad. And then I'd sort of ask around, inquired, and we figured out who it was, got confirmation, and it's like, ooh.
Yeah.
So,
Nah, those things happen, dude. It's just
yeah,
fate
that's
Yeah.
knocking on the door. But
what happened. Do 90 miles an hour on the highway.
Yeah, no, it doesn't even have to be that fast, dude. I had another friend of mine. He didn't die though, but he was just going to go down and get some pizza, But it was a bit slick that night, and he took like half the skin on the left side of his body off.
Oh.
He wasn't going very fast at all.
Yeah,
So,
that's why I wear all my gear
yeah, no, it is smart. But anyway,
all
uh,
all the time.
back to the
Yeah.
conversation. So all right, so different system.
Dave, did you want to join us and play?
Yeah, Dave, you want to join us and play? You're always on here.
Well, welcome.
Yeah, you are.
Come on, Dave. You know you want to do it.
you know, but
Come on.
I
They're gonna
would
be
vote
changing names.
to try the Cortex system. But what other systems do you think are good options?
Well,
Because I really don't know.
I got a couple other ones I could run, but they're very they're very complex. They're very, the ultra gamer intensive, right? And that we probably don't want to go that route. Um, uh, the opposite of that would be Fate. Fate is simpler in many ways than 5e. So I don't know if I want to go that direction either. But no, Cortex was on my mind. I was thinking about doing that next because I do like introducing new systems here and letting people see how they work. And like I said, I've read the system. I've just never run it. So I want to. I just need to go do the work again. But it is interesting. It's very different, which you guys would probably appreciate. It doesn't function like anything we've played before. Now the role playing aspects of it are of course doesn't matter, right? But it's got other things that are familiar. Like for instance, you do have, I forget what she calls it, but you do have your fate point, or the points you can use to do
Zero
stuff.
point.
Yeah, hero points, whatever they call them, right? It does have that in the system. Matter of fact, I kind of wonder. I think her system was before Fate, so she might have been one of the first to do that. Um, but it's got a few things that are familiar, and then it's got some stuff you've never seen before, unless you played Earthdawn. Then again, we who played Earthdawn way back in the early '90s, we're we've gone the way of the dinosaur. I don't think there are many of us left. But it does have, and I kind of wonder if Margaret had played it and she wanted to take it and modify and improve that. Have any of you guys ever played Earthdawn? Anybody?
That
I have
I
not.
was
No.
thinking born in the '90s.
Yes, I know. But Earthdawn was a system that dealt with the polyhedron dice themselves, right?
Oh,
Where we've had for a very long time, especially with the OGL came out, everything is D20, right? We've had, oh my God, I don't think we can even count GOP how many D20 games have come out over the past 25 years. Um, it's a lot. But Earth Dawn, and I actually met the creators of that back in the day. And of course, it's a spin-off of Shadowrun, is what it is. But it is kind of the ancient mythological history of the Shadowrun world, is what really Earthdawn is. Basically, the idea is you get with your character certain different polyhedron dice that you start off with. I think you get to choose. Everyone gets the same dice, like a D4, like two D4s, a D6, and one D8 or something like that, and you get to put them in stuff. And then as you gain experience points, you're putting it toward improving the size of the polyhedron dice. And therefore, over time, your character might have had a D6 in fighting, but eventually he's got a D10, right? That you're using to roll. And it worked pretty well. But I think what Margaret did is she took that system and she made it better. She improved it because one of the problems with with gaming, and I think one of the problems with a lot of the modern yuppie, we don't use the word yuppie anymore. What do we say? Millennial? Hipster? What's the
Sure.
word?
Um. Well, millennials kind of really broad because I mean it encompasses a lot. Hipster, I guess, could work more, but it's still a little dated. I don't know what the modern equivalent is, but
Tower, what do we call modern yuppies, hippies? Tower.
uh, I call them Geeds.
Okay, fair enough. But the millennials definitely infested role playing, which isn't a bad thing, really. More people doing it is great. But they're all about, I don't want dice. I just want to role play. They kind of do like that.
Mhm.
Douchebags. Thanks, Dave. Um, uh, that's probably
That
the right
makes
word.
it so an asshole.
But yeah, that too. But you've had a lot of games to go that direction. But
I like Dave.
yeah. But with something like the Cortex system, I think Margaret understood that gamers like to have a bunch of dice in their hand and throw them. It's part of the fun, right? To actually use dice, and something like an Earth Dawn was this really good system. You're rolling like one dice, right? But it's much more fun to roll five dice, isn't it?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've
And I think
too.
Margaret understood that the simplicity of that. I think she got that, and she built a system that allows you to do that without breaking the system, right? Because, like I said, even if you got some ability that you're just amazing at, and you're rolling like eight dice, you're only keeping two of them, right? So you get the fun of
Mhm.
For
rolling the
now.
dice and building your options. What was that, lady?
For now, you'd hope to get better at it, right?
Yeah, well, no, that's not true. One thing I know, and
Oh,
GOP knows as well, some people have luck with dice, and some do not.
That is
mm,
very true.
It is very true. It shouldn't be. Probability dictates that it is all equal, but it is not. Probability lies.
Yeah,
damn
Yeah,
it.
that is
It lied
very
to
true.
us.
it is. It is. I
I
know.
remember my. Oh, sorry. What were
No,
you gonna
no. Go
say?
ahead.
I was just gonna say my when I first started playing tabletop stuff, I just had the worst luck with dice. Like those first few sessions were just constantly, you know, low single digits. But then eventually my luck switched around, which was nice. But it's kind of disheartening when you're first starting out and everything is like a one or like like five or less.
Yeah. It's fate, that's be knocking at your door is what it is. But now me personally, I've always been a person that rolls high, always, even when I was little. But 90% of the time I'm the DM, so therefore I always keep my dice hidden, right? Because it just isn't. It's no fun if I'm just absolutely wiping the board. But it also helped me learn the fact that it doesn't really matter what I roll, right? When I need to hit in the right moment, I hit, and when I don't, right? As the DM, fudging is the word we use. But fudging the dice, I think, is essential for a DM because it's more about the fun of the game itself than it is about winning. And I can't stand those DMs that are all about that. That pisses me off, actually. But
Yeah,
anyway,
because you're kind of it's not like you're not really following the proper concept of the game. Like you're the storyteller essentially. You know,
yeah.
like you want to have fun, but it's like you're not the enemy of the players. you know, that's not how that works.
No, you're not, but a lot of DMs are though, and they don't get it. They don't get it. Another
No, they
interesting
don't.
thing about the Cortex system that I really like is whenever you guys roll a one, it doesn't matter what dice it's on, right? So if you're really really good at something, and you're rolling say six or eight dice, even though like I said you're only keeping two, but you're rolling six or eight dice, your chances of rolling one do increase. So the better you are at something, the higher the chance of a one being rolled, and that one. I can't remember if it automatically nullifies the roll completely or not. Once again, I got to reread it, but I know that I get a point where I can use for
Mhm.
stuff, whereas in the cipher system, I can interject anytime I want, right? And I'm
Yeah.
Yeah.
supposed to like three times a session. Like once an hour. You're supposed to, but in the Cortex system, I only get to do things to you like that when you screw up. And it gives me and I can do whenever I want. Where normally if you roll a critical failure, then I have to come something up right then. But in this game, I actually get in the Cortex system. We're going to be doing it online, but it's one of the. It's really built so beautifully for the tabletop because there's a lot of things that you hand out and you have different kind of tokens and dice and cards and stuff you can use. And but I would get my own little pile of villain points, right? And I can interject them anytime I want. And as the game goes by, more than likely I'm going to get more points. You see what I mean?
Hmm.
Yeah, it's kind of neat. So, I wouldn't mind
Yeah.
running that. I can't remember what it was called. Let me go. Let me go check it real quick. Go to my drive-through RPG. You guys use that?
Yeah,
I think I have a account there, but I haven't really done anything with it.
Yeah, I've
I
used it
haven't.
for a long time. It's a great resource. It's got everything on there. Matter of fact, a lot of companies have just kind of
it
been
doesn't
posting
have
there anyway.
Cortex Prime.
It
I
doesn't?
didn't look for it. I didn't see it. I
Maybe
wasn't
not.
looking under Cortex Prime though. I was looking under Cortex Gaming Systems. What I was looking under.
Oh, I think it is called Prime now, or it's just whatever. But because I do have the Marvel role playing game she came out with, and it was going. Oh, it was beautiful. It was going strong, and then Disney bought it. Disney bought Marvel, and Disney's Disney. They shut everything down, and they shut that down. Pissed her off. She put all her future files she had prepared. She just threw it online. And I kept them. I still have them for that, and it's evolved a little since then. So like I said, I'll have to dig in. The one I was thinking about is wearing the cape. I did buy that as well, and boy, that's a beautiful system, man. But it is old school number crunching ultra nerd system. It's gorgeous, but it's complicated. It's the nth degree of complicated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And I got other things like icons, and I got a lot of superhero role playing games is what I have mostly. And but those can be converted into. It doesn't matter. So I'm gonna go work up my Cortex and get myself ready for that. We also have the Scion system as well, or Scion system.
I never heard of that.
Yeah, I even
Yeah.
have
I
the
don't know.
second edition I got from the creator actually. But once again, that's basically the White Wolf system that's been adjusted. And I don't mind the White Wolf system; it's fun. You guys ever play any of the World of Darkness stuff?
No.
No.
The only systems I've played are the ones we played together. Because like
Chester,
before I joined, hmm?
really quick, I was gonna say, no matter what, on the 15th, I will not be able to make it because I'll be
That's
gone the
fine.
11th. Yes.
Yeah, no, you said
Oh
that.
well,
You said that. It's fine.
yeah.
But
Oh
like
man,
I
you
said,
might.
we're gonna have to work
We,
up this
we,
stuff anyway. But anyway, we don't need to get into it. We'll try Cortex. I'll work that up. So I guess the next question is, what genre do we want to do?
Uh,
Uh, can you
you
do?
wanted to do Western, right?
okay.
Can we do Western in that?
How about
Uh,
a noir punk, like a like kind of almost detective-y kind of feel. You know, I don't know.
You mean
That'd be
like
there's something different, but
like and Nikki? What was the name of that? Spillane? Is that what it was? You mean like the old like noir detective stuff?
like with like a like a cyberpunk feel to it. Like thrown in like a Art Deco punk kind of thing. Something in that kind of vein. And I think that'd
He
be
just wants
cool.
to make your life harder. That's all he wants to do.
I know he does.
Right,
I know he does, Mike.
right.
Thank you.
Uh,
Um,
well, you don't have to say the quiet part out loud. But no, that'd be fine. I mean, westerns are fun. I like that style of things. Something like we did before, where there's a bit of a supernatural element to it.
that little one-off I ran.
Comic book Bob,
Yeah,
you want to come join us? We're looking for more people to play. Hey, Eric
Bob.
Smith.
Hey, Bob. Yeah, no, we're restarting a new campaign, new team. So anybody who's interested and wants to, yeah, Sam Spade. There you go. Anybody wants to come and get involved, let us know, and we're forming a new team here. Sounds like I'm going to be running Cortex, which is cool. I did want to try it. So I will make sure I am prepared for that. We're just sitting here and trying to work it out. Yeah, you're right, Eric. Vampire the Masquerade was a great game. It was just outstanding. Um, uh,
I've never played that.
well, it's part of the World of Darkness I was just mentioning, and that system is really good. Back in the early '90s when it came out, it was it was a shot in the arm. We had like in the late '70s, early '80s, there was just this explosion of new ideas because D&D was such a phenomenal hit, right? And you had
Hmm.
all these kind of ideas coming out and people trying to create their own systems and stuff. And then it petered out through the '80s, and a few things came to the surface. D&D, of course, continuing, Gamma World, Marvel superhero role playing game, DC's Heroes. These things, Champions, those things kind of, lasted through the '80s. And then in the early '90s, we had World of Darkness drop from White Wolf, and that's Vampire the Masquerade, and it was so different, so fresh, and it was a mega hit. And one of the things that it was a very different, interesting system for one, and two, the writing was spectacular. The concept that the mark of Cain, we've all, I'm sure, grew up as kids in the church. I mean, that's a part of being American, isn't it? Or at least your experience to the Protestant world. Um, we all know that Cain was marked and banished to never die, right? By God for his murder of his brother Abel, right? Well, the concept that the creators of this game came up with was that the mark of Cain was vampirism. I know it sounds simple, but it's freaking genius, dude. It's genius. And the writing was spectacular. They just fleshed out, thousands of years of narrative. They did such a great job with it, man. But yeah, Vampire the Masquerade. And I've run that on this show before. On this channel, I have run it. I can't believe you
Yeah.
guys have never tried Vampire the Masquerade.
Well, I mean, I came into all this kind of late, so I didn't really get a chance to do
And
other
I was
systems.
fading out when it sprang up, so
That's
I
fair.
missed it.
That is fair. A lot of people did because, we played kind of games and stuff when we were kids, and when we get into that college age, we kind of phase out of it. I didn't. You know, I'm a
I
perpetual nerd.
I also wouldn't mind doing. Well, I mean, like as a shorter thing, like a Call of Cthulhu or something
Oh,
too,
that's
because I
just
haven't
brutal. We'll kill Tower like 35 times, dude.
tried. Right?
Tower will
I
Yeah,
be
don't.
nothing but the pincushion.
I don't
yeah,
mind having my characters die if you haven't noticed. So it's that doesn't bother me.
Yeah, but Call of Cthulhu is really brutal, dude. Um, I don't know if you guys ever heard of the RPGA. No.
It
Okay.
sounds familiar, but
Well, it's
yeah.
from Palladium, and it's just kind of a gaming group or gaming organization that's been around since, I don't know, the '70s, maybe, or early '80s. Um, and I actually wrote a bunch of module campaigns for them. But it's just something where you can go on Saturday, and you go to some community hall, and you got like 50 to 100 people show up, and they just all sit at tables and play officially sponsored modules. And you get when you get a magical item, it's actually on a card that is given to you. It's just a very official. So you can take your character that has been signed and approved, and with all its stuff it has, and you can go anywhere in the America or in the world that has a session going on that weekend. You can sit down and play, right?
Mhm.
So that's what the RPG A was, but one of the things that was one of the official campaigns they ran for a long, long time was Call of Cthulhu. So I've played a lot of Call of Cthulhu games, and that's a game that takes time to learn how to play it, as far as your character, not the dice, the mechanics, how to play your character so that it doesn't die like in 1.5 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah. I mean, it's something I wouldn't mind doing some point, but yeah, it might not.
No, I don't know about Call of Cthulhu, but I could run another a vampire or even a werewolf game, something from the World of Darkness. That's another game system that's just in my head, so I don't need to think about it. I could do that at
Mhm.
a moment's notice. That's right, Eric. Every major vampire clan would had their own city that they ran. Basically, vampires are city creatures, and they controlled the cities from the shadows and type of stuff. Yeah, that's what I mean. The World of Darkness was just so beautifully developed, and then they brought it to an end, which is fine. And they literally storied it to the end. And then they decided to reboot with the new World of Darkness, which sucked balls, and then they've gone back, but the problem is the people who own it and the people that are involved are all major woke progressives because you know how
Mhm.
the goth kids are, right?
Yeah.
And one
Right.
of the things with Vampire the Masquerade is it became very heavy into the LARPing side with the Mind's Eye Theater, which are separate books. I mean, it's mainly still supposed to be a sit down at table and role playing game, but it really went heavy in the LARPing, and the LARPers kind of took control, and they are so goddamn woke, dude. It's like if you want to find where the tumblers and the Twitterati live, go find a Vampire the Masquerade LARP. You will
Well,
find them all.
their whole shtick is pretending to be something that they're not. So of course they're woke.
Yeah, yeah. But it's wow, dude. Yeah,
Damn, GOP, you didn't have to kill him like that.
yeah. But I mean, it's okay. Oh,
Oh,
that's a good thing about role playing games. You can do whatever you want with it, right? But anyway, so
yeah.
Cortex. So you have an idea of a noir punkish type of thing. Tower, what kind of genre would you like to play in?
Cowboys, root 'em, toot 'em, shoot 'em.
So Western, okay. Lady?
I give him that yee six shooter,
Oh, got
you
it.
know, to go.
Well, look, I saw. Okay, yeah. How about a wasteland sci-fi with furries?
With
Dang,
furries,
Bob, I don't know about
that's
that.
Bob's
That's what
idea.
Bob
Yeah.
said. That's Bob's
Is that
idea.
a
Well, that
furries? Is that our enemy? That's the
Well,
big
no,
bad.
Bob is another actual, longtime role player, and Bob is doing a sideways wink, wink shade at me about my Gamma World reference. Is what Bob is doing.
Oh,
So
I think
he
we should make Bob come in here and we play something like
Oh,
Birds of Fallout 4.
you know
well,
what? I had an interesting idea for like a concept. Originally, it was like thinking for like maybe doing it as like a book or something. But so essentially, doing like the Crusades meets Mad Max kind of thing.
uh-huh.
Um,
Holy
like that.
warrior by
Like it
the
would
Pope.
basically be like the Crusades, but it would just be like very much Mad Max style. Everything oil, like it's in the you post apocalyptic future, and like oil is holy water in this world.
Why is
And
that Borderlands
well,
or
yeah, it's
something?
like it's in that kind of vein, but it'd be very stained glass windows on like muscle cars, and and you're going to the Middle East to try and get oil. It would just be really cool in my head at least, but like that is like a as a story setting. I
I
don't
think,
really think
yeah.
it's been done.
I mean, of course, you can run anything. You could certainly run a game based on that for sure. But yeah, I'm the one that has to do the work, though. GOP.
No, that's true. But you do like historical stuff, and I'm saying you kind of like almost run a bit parallel to that. But we just
Sure.
have like cool cars and stuff, and we're just
I'm
like,
Yeah, I'm just
yeah,
thinking of because the way I run online games is with visuals, and that means I have to go hunt art.
Oh my.
that's true.
Mm.
That is
Like with
true.
Imperius, what we've been running here, I have a
I really
library
love
of.
that world. I really love that world too.
Yeah, I
It
like
is
it
awesome.
too, but I mean, it's just kind of dead, lady. I mean, what are we gonna do?
Oh,
Bill hasn't been here in quite a while. Everybody had their little stuff they had to take off. It's been quite a while. Um,
yeah.
Hey, we could. I mean, there's nothing stopping us from taking this new system and starting from another point of the Imperius. I mean, instead of being part of the Romans, we could start off as, say, the, what was
American
it?
side of it, the
Yeah,
Star
yeah,
Empire.
yeah. Well, yeah, the Star Emperor. We could even be not the consortium, not the evil, like the big bads, but like the
Oh,
minor equal. We could start there. You know.
Chester's not saying a
Yeah, but the
word.
problem though, Tower, is you flew the ship into the center of the pyramid and hit the afterburners on the core energy core and blew up the planet. That's a problem.
Yeah, but
That's
here's
just one
here's
planet. Look how many there are out there.
That's true.
fucking plan. The
See how
whole
I did that,
galaxy.
GOP? See how I did that?
Yeah,
Yes,
very nice.
that actually would be perfect because we could start off the campaign with us reading a newspaper at some fucking the burrito shack. What were we calling it? Oh
Uh,
my god.
Diner Express. Yeah.
Diner
Mm.
Express, yeah, we could literally start the campaign at a Diner Express. Reading news like, did you hear this like planet in the outer solar system exploded? Yeah, I heard they just discovered a new fuel source, and then some kooky ass pilot fucking flew his ship into a pyramid. And next thing you know, poof.
Yeah.
Everything can be his fault.
Everything would be
It,
his fault. That is true.
I'm
That is true.
totally okay with that. I mean, but hey, that would put a close to our last campaign and give us
It
an
would.
introduction to our
It
one.
would. Well, how everyone just kind of think on it, dwell on it a little bit. What the clear decision we have is Cortex. So I need to go read again. I got to read another book again. GOP. God,
Hmm.
as
You're a
if
Well,
fast
you like
reader.
reading books.
I read every day. That's true.
Yeah.
My problem is I can't read
Hey,
normal
do you
text
see like
anymore.
big balls?
I need
Yeah,
Chester
that
likes
eyes.
big
does.
books.
That's true. That is true. And that does suck, lady. I understand that. My vision is not what it used to be for sure. It's what happens when we get older, lady. Just what happens.
Yeah, that's why
Uh,
I'm trying to find I'm looking around to see where I can get the cheapest PDF file of
yeah,
it.
you blow it up big. Yeah. Actually, I worry
Yeah,
about my wife too, because we're only in our early 50s, but she's always had bad eyes.
yeah.
She doesn't have the best vision even when she was young. So as we get older, I'm like, it might become a real problem.
She doesn't have cataracts, right?
She does have a little bit of something starting, but the doctor is on it, so
Okay.
hopefully it won't be
Yeah.
a problem. But she just has really bad vision. Um, but that's really her only problem. So you know, could be worse. But yeah. So, I understand is what I'm saying because even my vision is reduced.
Yeah, my vision's not great
I've
because of
lost my
my
zoom.
My vision is the same year as my motorcycle,
Mm,
2020.
there you go. Yeah. My brother actually was one of those rare folk. I forget what his ranking, but it was like, I don't know, like 15, 15 or something like that. But his is way better than the average 2020. Because 2020, as the number infers, is not perfect, right? It's a number.
Mhm.
But my brother is one of those people that has actually really, really, really good vision. That's why he became a helicopter pilot, I guess. But yeah, he was weird. If you ever dropped anything or lost anything, just bring him in the room, and in like a second later, he found it. So yeah,
Nice.
yeah, those people exist, right? I don't know the ratio of them, but I'm assuming all the pilots in the militaries are that kind, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I can see it being the case.
I would imagine. Yeah, I would imagine. But yeah, he was an Apache pilot. He was over in where was he? Was it Bosnia? Was that a
Rhode
thing?
Island?
No, no, no.
Yeah,
I'm
that
talking
was a
about
thing.
overseas. He was in Bosnia. He was in the Gulf. What do we?
Yeah, back in
What
the
did
Was he at
'90s.
what did Papa
Mexico?
Bush call that original thing with Kuwait? What did he call that?
That
Terrorist.
was the Gulf
Oh,
War.
a desert
Is it
storm?
just Gulf
No.
War? No, it wasn't
It
Desert
was the
Storm.
Gulf. It was the Gulf War.
Yeah, I think it had a different name at the time.
I mean,
But
their
anyway,
operational name I'm forgetting, but
yeah.
yeah.
Desert Storm?
I don't know. But anyway, he was in that. He was in Bosnia. He was in somewhere else, and then he got out. The weird thing is, you would think he would be flying helicopters commercially, now. You know, I'm sure there's
Mhm.
jobs. I mean, he's a freaking combat pilot, I'm sure that's good, pretty good resume qualification. But he isn't. He's like a software repair dude. Like,
Right. You know,
why?
a lot of flights will give former military pilots free plane rides.
I didn't know that.
Not just
Yeah.
from what I heard about it, like Southwest and a few of the other ones will
Desert
they
Shield.
like
Thank you, Dave. Yeah.
they
Desert
Mhm.
like
Shield.
from
Yeah.
what I heard they like to have former military pilots on board because a former military, so they have combat experience. So in a hijacking situation, it's like having another air marshal on board. And B, military pilot. That's a very trained pilot. So in a worst case scenario, not only do you have a spare pilot, but you also have a spare warden, someone who can deal, hand to hand or whatever to stop a hijacker.
Yeah, sure. Well, I just was surprised. I mean, he literally is a combat helicopter pilot. I'm an Apache
Mhm.
pilot. I mean, you would think he would be. I mean, helicopter pilots get paid good money, don't they?
I
I
Would
would,
would
as-
No
assume.
idea.
would
I mean,
assume so.
we work with crane operators, and you would think they make good money, but no.
Yeah, I don't know. He just doesn't do it. It's weird. Maybe there's a reason. I don't know. Really haven't spoken to my brother much in the past 30 years, really. But
Really.
no, I've been in Asia, Tower.
I mean, there's fly him out to Asia. Actually, he can fly himself out to Asia.
He could, yeah. But no, I've been living in Asia for 30 years, and I haven't been back home since.
You
Wow.
haven't
With
been
all
to
the
the
with all the traveling you do,
Yeah, no,
that's
right? Yeah. But that's more recent, though. For a very long time, I didn't really travel much of anywhere. Um, I
Mhm.
just doing my jobs. But recently, I've been doing stuff, and mainly it's for the anthropology conferencing, right? Conferences stuff.
Yeah.
Inside of Japan, I travel, but outside the country, it's only recently, and that was just a fluke anyway, right? I don't even know how I got involved in it. Really, it was my friend, I'm sure, because
Mhm.
every now and then I'll get a call from one of my friends, and those guys have real jobs in the industry, not like me. I'm just a translator, right? All I do is just translate old dusty tablets and into English, right? That's all I do, right? Nothing important. But
Go find the spell of wishes. Who knows? And translate it.
No, no, no. I'm a mid-level license. I get receipts and court cases and very boring shit. It's not. I don't get anything interesting. But although a couple of the manifests I have translated turned out to be kind of interesting, but I'm not allowed to talk about that, so I won't.
Whoa.
Huh? What do you mean
Um,
by that?
TA.
but
What
uh,
is?
but no, I'm
Uh,
I'm boring.
what,
I'm very boring.
but
But
what is that a manifest?
Oh, no, 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 I didn't say anything, Tower. Don't even bring it up. But anyway,
I heard nothing.
so a lot of my friends I went to university, school with, did stuff with, they've gone on to do bigger, better things, right? Um,
Hmm.
and they occasionally I get because there's a couple of things I'm good at. So I like write a chapter here or there for some textbook or something, right? And there was last thing I did was. I wrote a chapter for the Oxford Press. One of my friends asked me to do it, and it was about the migration of the Rh negative, which is a kind of a genetic, historical, or anthrogenetic kind of conversation. Anyway, I wrote this chapter for them, and they later they were like, "We're doing a tour on all the people involved in the book," and I was like, "Okay."
Mhm.
So that's it. That's the only reason, GOP. Other than that, I wouldn't really be leaving the country. I mean, I fly around Japan a lot, but I don't leave the country very much. So yeah.
Well, at least was the speech you had to give, was it riveting? Was there a
Oh,
standing ovation?
well, here's of course, but that's actually what I'm best at, GOP. If you haven't noticed, because I
Mhm.
stand up in front of people every day, for decades. talking. That's what I do, standing in front of rooms of people speaking. So if you do that enough, whether you don't have to be talented. If you do it enough, you become skilled at it, right? So
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
really good at standing in front of a group of people and talking. So you know,
Mhm.
yeah.
Well,
So
yeah.
so yeah, no, I'm ladies got to argue this, but some people say I'm funny
Yeah,
What?
sometimes you are.
sometimes
Uh,
on
uh,
Who are
occasions.
these people? Let me talk to them.
Yes.
uh,
But no, I mean, that's
Yes.
really my best, strongest point is talking to people. So, you know, like everything
do
else
you
I
get
do is middling. Now,
you,
I do a lot of things, but they're all middling, right?
Mhm.
I'm a Renaissance man. Is that what they? Is that the expression? Can we still use that?
Oh, wait
I
a
mean, you
second. Do you have
can.
a third degree black belt in anything?
No.
Okay, then you're not a Renaissance man.
Well,
Well, wait a
I do
second. You
have a
can dance.
black
Never
belt,
mind.
but I was like,
Yeah, from
the
Jason Penney's,
American
right?
Kid karate shit, right? It's
No,
not
well, no,
real.
I took it back because you do know fencing, so I'll take that
Oh,
back.
that was the only sport I was really good at.
Eric.
Everything else I was middling. But
is
I was a pretty good fencer. And to be fair, even though it is, American Kid karate crap, because that's what it is. You're basically paying for your belts. But which is fine. It has a lot of things it builds in kids, and I think it's a good idea. But I did take a few of those skills when I was a bouncer, and of course, then as I'm doing it as a bouncer, you learn in real world. So it wasn't useless.
Eric needs to escape reality and come play with us, doesn't he?
Eric probably
Yes, he
thinks
does.
we're nerds.
He needs to get away from all those kids he's got.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're here watching us, then you're
Why
kind
aren't
of
you in
you're
here?
kind
Well,
of a
Yeah,
nerd
exactly.
too.
he just puts us on in the background, and when he hears me say something egregious, he comes on and chastises me. That's
Well,
what.
Oh, so he's one of those invisible number people. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
he's an
uh,
invisible chastiser.
so all we
Admonished.
have to do is have you say a bunch of things on a campaign night and get him so worked up that he comes in here, and then then we got him.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
right. That's right.
Oh,
you just
I can play
change
Eric
things every time to leave.
Hartman's character, can't I?
You could play the Hawkins, and he should be in a wheelchair and can't move and makes weird robot sounds.
Oh,
Yeah. Drools. That's Eric. Yeah. But
I'll be great at that. I'll get an Oscar or nominated or something.
yeah, that is
I
funny
roll
though.
a one.
Go ahead, GOV.
I was doing my best Hawkins impression.
Oh,
I roll
I
one.
rule on you, sucker. But
I hit him with sword.
Oh, wait
sword.
a second,
That's pretty good. That's pretty
kid.
good. Yeah. But it is funny about the karate thing. It's still stuck in my head though. I mean, because so many Well, I don't even think it's just Americans. Just kids around the world took karate or kung fu or something when they were a kid, right? And just thinking back to how goddamn useless it was, man. It's so ridiculous because I do have a black belt. I do.
I
I
love
wouldn't accredit it to anything at all ever, but I do, and it's so many people that do, right?
I love those videos of that one guy in China who does MMA, and he goes and fights all those
Oh, and just wipes
martial
the
arts
floor with them.
masters.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's just wonderful to watch.
it is. I mean, to be fair, if you take martial art of some kind and you're dealing with someone who hasn't taken anything, it does give you a little bit of advantage, I think. But the only real way to be capable in combat is to practice it live, dude. That's the only
Mhm.
way you're going to become good at something. And you look at the American military, for instance. I think they do teach karate and judo, and those are more combat oriented than say kung fu is. But when you look into our special forces, those dudes who really need to fight,
Boxing.
what do they take? What do they study?
Boxing.
Boxing,
Isn't
Boxing.
like
Krav
yeah,
Maga, yeah, or
yeah,
something
Krav
like that.
Maga. Yeah.
Krav Maga, or boxing, yeah, just stuff you would think is boring, but it's actually way more practical, right?
Well, I mean, Krav Maga was designed as a combat tech, like I mean, well, I guess they were all kind of designed that way, but like it was designed by like a military, to
It
like
was, yeah,
maximize effectiveness.
it was, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, I chuckle. That's all.
Hmm.
Any of you guys take martial arts here when you were little?
No, I did not. Unfortunately, it was not my thing.
Well, what was your thing? What did you do? What sport did your parents make you do?
Uh,
Um,
they didn't.
They should have.
Uh,
yeah, I
yeah,
mean, I did stuff
they were
like chess and stuff like that, but
interested.
not like physical sports.
Really?
Yeah,
How about you when you were a
Yeah.
I
little lady? I know you must have done some sport.
Here in West Texas, I did softball,
Mm-hmm.
and then I played volleyball,
Mm-hmm.
and then high school, I went straight to choir.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay. No, I wasn't one of those guys. I was definitely 100% a nerd, as I still am. But my father insisted I do sports, so I have been on the baseball team, the football team, the soccer team. Played basketball with Eric, the guy up in here that's but drops in and says hi. Not Hawkins, Smith. But team wise, of course, then fencing. But I had to do all of the sports, the karate. We had judo for a while. Yeah, no, I had to do all the sports. I didn't have an option.
well,
The
I had a cousin that, took taekwondo. Her
hmm
husband taught it to her, and it actually saved her because she was walking across the road one day pregnant, carrying something and ice, and she slipped and she just naturally rolled using the
yeah,
taekwondo and
no,
was
that's
never
useful.
hurt. Baby was fine.
No,
Yeah.
that is useful. Like I said, there's a few useful things. It's just not really going to help you much in a fight. But no, that is a good point. Learning how to fall is very important with martial arts. Yeah, that is true.
Mhm.
Yeah. But it is funny because each one of the sports, I was good at one little part of it, and then not anything else. Uh, you know, Soccer, I have great stamina, so I could run around all day. But who gives a shit, right? If you can't handle the ball. Baseball, I could hit the hell out of it, baseball, but I couldn't catch shit. That's why I was the DH.
Mm.
Mm, that was only
David, you're lucky.
Yeah, I sucked. Football, as a middle linebacker, I wasn't that bad. I was okay. But that was for a not very, major football. I mean, if you go down in the South, football is God, right?
Mhm.
And I could have
Yeah.
never made the team down in that situation. But I wasn't bad. And that's where I picked up my nickname, by the way. As my coach
Oh,
said, I
Okay.
that's
was a real bugbear
Alright.
in the middle.
oh.
Bugbear. Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah, and it stuck. It's
I
kind of
thought it
cool.
came off a bed bug because that's exactly what you were.
No, no, he was using it literally. He was an old dude, you know, old
Mm.
fella, fought in World War II, that type of guy. But no, it's
Um,
a real bugbear in the middle. He said, because one, I was really good in the middle because if I even got one finger on you, you weren't getting away, right?
uh,
But that's about. But other than that, I was kind of slow. But it wasn't until fencing. Fencing, I was really good at that. I don't know why. I just naturally was.
You were great at poking people. That
Well,
was.
it's hand speed.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, yeah. Don't
Don't go there.
don't
Don't
give me the
go
opportunity. Lady says, yeah. I don't know. Do you guys never had any sport you were good at that sport and not others?
table tennis?
See, I suck at table tennis.
Admit.
Yeah, my wife kicks my
Um,
ass in ping pong.
I mean, I'm pretty darn good at air hockey, but I don't consider it a sport. I just, was good at playing other people in it. But yeah.
Sure, sure. Yeah, well, actually, in this family, I mean, I played all the sports, but my wife was actually the athlete, still is. I mean, she was like the volleyball coach in her school. She was on the swimming team. She's the athlete, not me. So,
Oh, right.
yeah. And she still does it. She's downgraded herself to jazzercise, but she goes twice a week with a whole bunch of other old ladies jazzercising in the gym.
Were these
Have
the
you
old
ever?
ladies that like get permission from her to pinch you somewhere?
No, these those that no, those are elderly. I'm talking about the middle-aged ladies, the bachans.
Mm,
But it's interesting to go to because I pick her up sometimes and to see a room of 100 plus 50, 60 something ladies jazzercising. It's quite the sight.
have they ever asked you to sub in and do the jazz of the jazzercising?
They have no to play no, but they have asked me to join their class on many occasions, and I politely refuse.
You're not
No
a
other man there, huh?
jazzercise kind of guy.
No,
Or
I'm
no other
not.
straight man there?
Well, there's one dude that is in there with him. One dude, and he is the most flamboyant dude you've ever seen. And I was like, "Baby, you know he's gay, right?" She's like, "No."
Oh man.
Yeah, yeah, it's cool, dude. So I do my little run in the morning. I go push my rock on the mountain. I come down, So a little bit of exercise is good for you. How about you, Tara? You're a young man. How do you exercise?
He just stopped
Uh,
drinking alcohol, please.
I actually been going to the gym quite a bit.
You should.
In the yeah, I go to the gym in the mornings and hit the weights.
Yeah, no, you should, dude. You're a young man. Get yourself in shape. Form yourself out, dude. Absolutely.
Yeah, I forgot there was an old saying. Who is it? There was a Greek philosopher that said, "A man who does not achieve his peak physical fitness in his lifetime will never know the beauty of the physical strengths of his body."
That's fair. It is true. I know when I was your age, I was a gym rat because I was doing a lot of sport. But I definitely was, and I was going for the Mark Singer look. I tried. No, just me. All right,
Hmm.
fine.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
you,
just you.
sorry.
All right. Well, he was the guy in the movie Beastmaster.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I was going for that look. I don't know. I got about 70% there, maybe something like that. But never achieved it though. That's all right. It's hard
Hmm.
work, man. These guys, you see these Hollywood actors that actually put the time in. That's brutal to keep their body like that. It's brutal.
Well, yeah. Usually they keep it like that long enough to get the shoot done.
Yeah,
You
no,
know.
unless you're Dwayne Johnson, and then it's your life.
Well, yeah, because it's kind of like a part of every movie he's gonna do. Like he's not. I don't think he would. Well, actually, I think he did play a role where he was like the fat dude, but it was a fat suit kind of thing. But
Hmm.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
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 it's,
yeah. That's right. The high school. Oh,
I don't.
he
I
was
just
in the
remember the.
FBI, CIA, something like that after high school, whatever.
Oh, right, I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, that was funny. But that's his choice, of course. It's brutal. But then again, I just recently Sylvester Stallone has been dropping some movies, and he looks phenomenal. The dude's 76 years old. I mean, my God, dude, it's insane. But no, Tower, good on you. You should that as a young man. You should be out there, get yourself in shape, work up your career. Focus. Yeah, you should be doing that, dude. Absolutely.
Working on becoming an operator one day.
Yes. Well, the good thing is, even though I'm 52, Tower, if I am really sweaty or oiled and you're looking at me at the right angle with the right light at the proper angle, there's actually possibly maybe some definition.
Alright.
Well, that's
That's
quite a definition.
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
You're gonna get cracked because essentially, when I was training rookies how to drive the spotters, I would tell Scott that when they were taking their test. Like Scott's like, he's clearly over the line. I'm like, it's the lighting. He's like, it's fucking noon, guy. It's high noon.
Yeah, no, 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 no. Well, I mean, when I was younger, I had a six pack, but everyone kind of did. But
Peter.
not now, not now.
Howard's got a six pack right now, right in front of him.
I'm sure he does. That's what cheesecakes and Italian hoagies do for you. That is right, Dave. That is true. That is absolutely true. But I mean, it's okay. I'm old enough. I don't have to. I don't have to work that hard.
White apples, actually.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And but I was really lucky too because even though I'm tall, I'm not lanky. I'm kind of squat and thick, and so I don't have that problem, which is good. The difficulty is because I am tall and very wide, I look like a freaking Bigfoot.
Do you see? Next time we do a role play, Chester, I want to I feel like shit like that'd be funny. Just I want to roll to see just how big my feet are.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. That's fine. I don't know what sizes you guys. I'm on a 14. What do you guys wear?
I'm a 9.5 guy.
Jesus. GOP?
I wear 12s.
12s. Yeah. Well, I think 10 and a half is what's the average? It's like 10 or something like that, right?
I don't know.
Depends on the person.
Well, no,
'Cause
average. I use the word average. Maybe it's a 9
Yeah.
actually.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, it's a pain in the ass to find shoes. Even for you as a 12, I bet you it's a pain in the ass.
I mean, I
Mhm.
manage, but it's just because so much stuff is like through online shopping too. If I get something that I already know fits, and I want to get like a new pair of work boots or something, then it's not that big of a deal. But yeah.
Well, I actually spent money some years back. I still have them on getting a cobbler to actually make a pair of boots. So I do have a one cobbled pair of boots in my life. And I would suggest if you can kind of scrape some money together for it, it's nice. It's nice. Yeah, I would suggest it.
What does that even mean? A cobbled pair of boots?
Handmade.
That's yeah.
Oh yeah, that sounds delicious. I wear Ariat boots personally, like leather boots.
Well, yeah, but when you go to the shoe store, there's like every option for you. When I go, there's
Yeah.
like a pair over in the corner, and they're like pink striped Nikes. It's
Oh
seriously,
Yeah.
it sucks.
well, actually, I ordered the boots that I'm currently wearing. My one size. I ordered those online. The
Yeah, but
Amazon.
that's dangerous though, dude. I ordered a pair of boots online once, and they were actually too big, which was
The only thing I
weird.
will say is because I've worn air. This will probably be my third pair of Ariats. Every other one I've had was my exact size.
I don't even know what an
So when I
Ariat
ordered
is.
my size, I was sort of confident that they'd be comfortable. And I tell you what, they fit perfectly.
Well, that's
I got
cool.
lucky.
That is cool. Yeah, we lost
Well,
Lady
we
for some
lost
reason.
lady.
Oh, they're cowboy boots. I see. Yeah, they look pretty nice actually. Ariats.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, I think
Oh,
that's a good cue. So for today, so I guess what we've kind of come to the decision is I'm going to go and read the Cortex book again. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Yee. So there you go. I'm going to do that, and then we'll make a decision on the genre going forward. And keep in mind, anyone who's listening to this afterward as well, if you want to join in and be part of this new campaign, let us know. We'd love to have you. I don't think I have a seat restriction this time, so anybody, whoever's interested, come on in. But other than that, GOP, would you like to give a closing comment before we get out of here today?
I really don't have anything. Although I will say
where to
I'm
buy
starting to work
pet
on
Russian
music again, so
dolphin?
that's cool. What's up?
Where to buy pet Russian dolphin?
Huh?
We're gonna train it, or is
It's
it already trained?
literally That statement, Chester, is literally just a joke statement meant to confuse you.
Oh, okay.
I'm not confused at all. I'm on
Success.
board as long as it's
Will
affordable.
I pet Russian dolphin? Is
Yeah.
literally the statement.
Does he
Okay.
have Putin's signature tattoo on him?
No, this was before Putin's time.
Oh God.
You
Okay.
know,
All right.
like Putin riding a bear, that thing,
It's like a
but it's like
dolphin.
Yeah.
the dolphin is riding on Putin's back. That's essentially
Oh, that's
what
as it
the
should be.
tattoo would
That makes sense. Like a backpack. Cool.
be.
All right. Well, thank you guys very much, and we'll talk to you next time. In 2 days, we do have Drone Record Ultimate Edition. I'm not sure what we're doing this week, but it's always something cool. And of course, the artists are always amazing. So come on back for that. Other than that, I guess I would say later.
Goodbye.
So take it easy, fellers.